you picked up there on something that I think we're all wrestling with, which is something's failing, or something has failed in terms of the narrative of secular materialism, and it's almost what's moving in to replace and to provide meaning instead of. Belle, just coming in on that, I suppose one of the things I've been wrestling with is, there are some moments, some conversations you have where you think, no, this really is, at least the early stages of some sort of revival. We use the phrase the quiet revival, people having dreams and seeing amazing things. And then there are other moments where you think actually people are turning in all sorts of different directions. It's not just a sort of everyone's going down the Christian route. There are so many other, and I was thinking about it almost like at times I think, if for example, the state of Venezuela fails, if you have a failed state, then you have people bleeding out in all different directions. The population of Lima goes up by 1 million in Peru because something's failed over here. But all the surrounding countries kind of have this influx of new people seeking refuge, seeking asylum, seeking something that provides shelter. And I suppose if something's failed, can I ask you, where else are people going? Because the spiritual openness is not all going into church, is it? What else are you seeing, and how do we respond to that?
Yeah, you are exactly right. I think that's what I talk about a lot is place. It's wonderful that we're seeing a growth in people come to Christianity in context with nearly every spiritual tradition option has a similar story. So, for example, the amount of people who would now identify as pagans or druids, that's on the rise. The sale of crystals, tarot cards, the amount of people who are going to see psychics. Not the rise in astrology, but the rise in people taking it more seriously than just it being like the back page of a magazine. They're actually living by these things. All of that is on the rise as well. Because like you say, and like Chine has alluded to, we've come to the end of ourselves in so many ways. So you are absolutely right. They're going here, there, and everywhere. And that's really interesting. Like existential yearnings being on the rise means that we have a smorgasbord of spiritual options. That's what we're kind of seeing at the moment. And a real marketplace of ideas, which makes me, as a biblical studies geek, really excited because that's quite first century. That's quite early church-esque. Like they too were kind of putting Christianity out there in a marketplace of ideas, not where there was one central idea and it was secularism. So that relearning to communicate in a marketplace of ideas is a really interesting and exciting opportunity that I think we have, but it is undeniably where we are. You're right. It's not like everyone is flocking in one direction. It's a little bit chaotic and a little bit messy. And also there are people who are like, well, I'm going to try this for a while and then a bit of that. Or maybe they'll overlap. So I'll try astrology and I'll come to church. Maybe I will do some pagan practices and I'll also get some Reiki healing. There's also this interesting thing where people aren't feeling like they need to go down one lane and make that their exclusive spiritual practice or experience. And that too, in our immediate history, we're used to one story having the say, aren't we? So it was secularism or atheism or materialism, like one story is kind of the dominant one, and everything else is kind of, well, yeah, inferior to that. I think that is shifting.
Can I add something? Because I think that is absolutely correct. And one of the things that we're also seeing, which I find interesting, is, as Belle said, yes, there are kind of a rise in interest in paganism and crystals, but also in other religions.
Yeah.
So young Muslim people are coming back to faith, or Jewish people. And one of the things about a kind of diverse society, multicultural societies, is people are living alongside, for the most part, people who practice other religions. And I think that also can lead people towards Christianity, because they might think, okay, well, my Muslim best friend is really devout and he prays, and maybe I should kind of look at, the faith that I was raised in and kind of explore the Bible. So I think there's something interesting happening there in terms of kind of different faiths kind of almost like influencing each other to practice more.